What's good, my people? Today we are back with another K-pop reaction. Now today we've got something special called K-pop Explained. Now, a lady on Instagram, Nadia, a lot of you know her already on my channel, she said I need to react to K-pop Explained. For all of you that haven't watched this yet, I think this video will help us all, you know, a bit more about K-pop, you know, like general knowledge and why K-pop is as big as it is. And apparently this is a very good video, so I hope you guys stay tuned. Straight into the video.
Before we get into the video,
if you like the video at the end, make sure you hit the like button, you feel me? And if you feel some type of connection between us, you like us, hit the subscribe button. It's all for free. Stay tuned for the Patreon. You already know. Snow Drop episode 2 dropping this week.
Obviously gonna do much more than just Snow Drop.
Yeah, that's just the start. We very new to Patreon. I don't even know how to do it yet, but we're gonna do it. Let's get into the video. Okay, we're gonna try and pause as little as possible. We got K-pop Explained, bro.
Netflix.
There's probably gonna get copyrighted, so there's probably gonna be some words or something.
You know these iconic moments in music. The Beatles landing in the USA, setting off the British invasion. Jimi Hendrix playing the Star-Spangled Banner. Madonna at the first VMAs.
Madonna.
Here's one you might not know. Seulteji and Boys performing on a musical contest show in South Korea. But you definitely know what this moment created.
That's what K-pop creating, bro.
The worldwide industry we call
K-pop. Korean pop culture that's sweeping Asia is now taking hold here.
The explosion of the $5 billion global Korean music industry.
It's like when they got to LAX, it's like the Beatles were here.
Thanks.
That's crazy. So many people.
So here's a question. How did South Korea create such a globally successful music industry? To begin to answer that question, we need to rewind right back to that iconic moment. You can tell from Seulteji's face, they're not getting the best response from the judges.
그런 반면에 멜로디 라인이 되게 약한 것 같아요. 아무래도 랩을 하다 보니까.
Everyone who saw the show was really shocked about their performance on the stage.
To understand why this performance was so shocking, just listen to one of the biggest hits the decade before. It was a patriotic anthem wrapped in an 80s pop song.
It was called 대한민국. It's all Korea. I hear the song continuously from TV and from radio.
The reason he heard this song all the time was because it was a healthy song, a patriotic tune commissioned and promoted by the government.
Propaganda.
This control of pop culture was imposed by South Korean dictator Park Chung-hee and continued after his assassination in 1979. During this era, the government controlled the broadcast systems, which televised wildly popular musical variety shows. In order to be broadcast, pop music either had to be patriotic, like Ah Korea, or safe, like You Are Too Far to Get Close To, a G-rated love ballad.
그 당시에는 방송, 공중파 방송 3사밖에 없기 때문에 방송 말고 다른 곳에서 새로운 문화를 경험하는 것 자체가 굉장히 힘든 시기였던 것 같아요.
Seulteji and Boys' television debut in the spring of 1992 was the defining moment that showed cultural progress in South Korea was possible.
Oh, it's so big because it's so different. Like they're only used to propaganda stuff, and now here comes people doing this pop stuff, hip hop stuff. Yeah, like they're like, what the hell?
It's not even seen today.
Yeah, it's not even.
Seulteji and the Boys might be the cultural symbol that showed all the change, not only in the culture industry, but also in whole environment in Korea.
Seulteji and Boys rapped, they wore baggy pants, and they danced like b-boys.
Hey,
something Korean audiences had rarely heard a Korean group do.
그 당시에 제가 어렸을 때 어떻게 보면은 이제 저희 어렸을 때는 좀 안 좋게 봤어요. 춤을 춘다 그러면 머리 염색하고 막 이러니까 어른분들이 되게 안 좋게 생각하셔서.
In fact, newspapers started describing them as the Korean new kids on the block.
서태지와 아이들이 어떤 옷을 입고 나오면은 유행이 그냥 변하긴 했었는데 미국에 어떻게 보면 이제 흑인 힙합 패션을 한국에 가져오신 분이라고 저는 생각을 해요.
Thanks to them, what we consider normal within popular culture in Korea expanded.
Take their 1995 classic, Come Back Home, about teenage runaways. This song skirted past censorship, but Regret of the Times, another track off the same album, was banned because its lyrics directly disrespected the older generation. That didn't stop Salteji and Boys from becoming one of the most popular acts in South Korea. They wanted to go out on top.
I feel like every time in Korea something is like they don't like it, the community doesn't like it, they just ban it, bro.
Yeah.
Even if it's an artist, they just ban it. Like, what can you do? They have so much power over people these days
And
in
so
Korea.
at the height of their fame, they announced their retirement. And understanding the power of an image, released a music video saying goodbye.
하는 것만으로도 저에겐 얼마나 큰 슬픔인데 오빠가 진짜 여기 없다는 사실만으로도.
Nearly 40 years before that, South Korea was an incredibly poor country, but it had developed its economy strategically from the ground up. And by 1996, when Salteji and Boys retired, it was the 11th richest country in the world.
What?
Enter Lee Soo-man, a former Korean entertainer turned businessman who saw music as the next big export.
그리고 메이드 인 코리아라는 것을 격상시켜서 앞으로 문화적인 느낌으로 상품을 마케팅해야 되지 않겠는가라는 의미로 봤을 때 가장 좋은 방법이 뭔가? 그것은
Lee Soo-man's first hit product was HOT.
Oh, candy. Candy. I performed this in school. The gloves were the most important part.
Yes, the ski gloves were a thing. If you look at Salteji and Boys and HOT side by side, you'll see some remarkable similarities. They blended hip-hop with dance music, and they wore clothes meant for the slopes.
You have to understand, we love HOT, but their music videos confused us as well.
안 했었죠. 저 어렸을 때는 진짜 길거리에 사람들이 그런 장갑을 하고 다녀가지고 좀 충격을 받았었어요. 그 당시에 그런 스키복을 입고 다니는 H.O.T가 스키복을 입고 방송에 나온 적이 있는데 그 당시에 스키장에 가면 모두가 다 그 옷을 입고 있었어요. 한국에서.
And then there was the choreographed dance.
And there was this dance, this thing, it was called the Mangchichum, which is like a hammer dance. I mean, if you're a kid and you don't like awesome choreography, then you're not really a kid. This song was huge, and there were about like 200 songs that tried to do what this did.
Lee Soo-man had clearly tapped into something. And a year later, when a catastrophic financial crisis pummeled Asia, the South Korean government had the same idea as Lee Soo-man. Culture could be the country's next big export industry. They even passed a law devoted to bolstering the arts and vowed to dedicate at least 1% of the entire state budget to culture. There were three main companies ready to take advantage: Lee Soo-man's SM Entertainment and two other new music agencies, JYP and YG.
YG is Blackpink's, and then I've heard a lot of GYP Entertainment as well. There's a lot of groups we have to check out.
YG is like one of the biggest.
YG is probably one of the biggest, yeah, for sure.
Founder was none other than Yan Hun-so, a member of Salteji and Boys.
Yo.
These three companies established the formula for making
BTS.
K-pop
BTS.
that still exists today.
Gang.
First things first, the K in K-pop stands for Korean, so it's Korean pop.
I would describe K-pop to someone who's never heard it as
Pop on crack.
I don't want to call it manufactured because that feels rude, but there's this whole presentation to the groups.
Thanks.
It's absolutely not cynical music at all. It is just pure optimism.
지금도 사실은 한국 음악 시장에서 K-팝이란 무엇인가에 대해서 일상 사람들이 얘기를 많이 하거든요. 그러니까 한국에서 만들어진 게 K-팝이냐, 아이돌 그룹만 K-팝이냐.
Across the world, we're used to the term K-pop, but in Korea they're called idol groups because they were made through a very specific process. The entertainment company auditions or scouts the idols, trains them to sing, dance, and act, and carefully assembles them into incredibly polished and well-rounded groups. Now, this process can take years, and it's a process that K-pop didn't invent. That same factory system was used by Motown, the label that cultivated hit acts like the Supremes, the Temptations, and the Jackson 5. Speaking of the Jackson 5, K-pop bands usually have at least 5 members, often a lot more, and they all take on specific roles.
That's crazy.
You'll very rarely find a group where 2 people are very similar. The K-pop groups will typically have titles to them, really, about like their position.
As for me, I got a role of like a leader and a songwriter and a rapper.
You have the singer, you have the rapper, you have the dancer.
J-Hope, like him, he's like the dancer of the group.
You have the Magne, which is the youngest one, which is like a role in its own.
That makes the chemistry of it.
That's so weird, eh? Like the youngest in the group is a role. If you're the young, yeah, like Jungkook is the youngest. So that's a role to him, you know?
It's like the Avengers. Imagine like the Avengers with 9 Tony Starks. That doesn't work. You gotta have Ant-Man, you have to have Hulk, you gotta have very different personalities.
Now, they may all be different, but every K-pop idol has to be squeaky clean.
아이돌은 좀 착해야 되고 겸손해야 되고 그리고 뭐 술과 마약, 여자 문제 같은 어떤 문제를 일으키지 말아야 되고
Love is the biggest topic, and it's also the topic that K-pop stars are never allowed to really talk about personally. There's this idea that every single K-pop star is meant for the fans.
And when a K-pop group looks for an audience, they almost always look beyond Korean borders.
Yeah.
You'll see clues of that international strategy in the very names of the groups. They're almost always acronyms, so there's no issue translating them for a global market. It started when the uniquely Korean Seoltaeji,
like 방탄소년단, BTS, Blackpink is just solely English and stuff.
Seoltaeji
was followed by the easily marketable HOT. If you take a closer look at the K-pop group EXO, you'll see another marketing strategy: subgroups. 2 members are there specifically to sing and rap in Chinese. Not only does the group frequently release 2 versions of one song, they sometimes even shoot 2 versions of the same music video.
People will talk about K-pop as a music genre. It's not really a music genre, it's a music idea.
And it's as much a visual art as a musical one. You can see it in the bold colors and impeccably timed choreography of their music videos.
Even at this point, if you're from a small label, your production for a music video is still going to be 1,000 times better than a music video that's coming out in the US.
K-pop music video looks like...
Oh my god. Crazy choreography with amazing intricate sets and the weird costumes.
를 보면 춤을 못 추는 그룹은 없는 것 같아요.
They'll have a vague story element that's just completely inscrutable. So something like BTS's Blood, Sweat and Tears, very European art museum, but no one's got any idea of what's happening, and then they intersperse that with beautiful dance moves, which is fantastic.
Music videos like Blood, Sweat and Tears have been a driving force of K-pop's viral success around the world. And while K-pop songs are largely sung in Korean, you'd be hard-pressed to find a K-pop song that doesn't have some English lyrics.
Just close your lips, shut your tongue.
Yes, there are occasional English words here and there, but the good thing about the English words in it is that it makes it catchy.
Over the decades, East or West, there's been a back and forth with the influence. And that's what pop basically is. You can't really pinpoint like a location to it.
사실 그 한국에서 지금 나오는 뭐 여러 K-pop 아티스트들 앨범들의 다수의 곡들이 제가 알기로는 거의 외국 곡으로 알고 있어요. 스웨덴이나 뭐 미국에 계신 분들이 쓰신 곡으로 알고 있고.
K-pop is happy to take good ideas from anywhere. Take Red Flavor, one of the biggest K-pop hits of 2017. It was immortalized by Jack Black in a viral video taken from a Korean show, Infinite Challenge.
Infinite Challenge, it's a very popular show here.
What? I've never seen that.
The song was written by Caesar and Louis, 2 Swedish producers.
We actually wrote Red Flavor for a Western girl band. It was called Dance With Nobody, actually.
It was like about a breakup.
But we had Dance With Nobody, nobody but me.
SM ultimately changed the lyrics to be a breezy summer hit. But hidden right before the song's chorus is a little ode to Swedish pop royalty, ABBA.
A little bit ABBA. They always had these parts. It's like they answer the melodies.
43 seconds into Dancing Queen, you'll hear exactly what they're talking about.
The Dancing Queen.
And 43 seconds into Red Flavor, you'll hear this. Which brings us to the next key part of the formula, how K-pop songs mix and match genres.
It's all about experimentalism. You can go from super bubblegummy pop 1 minute to like a hardcore breakdown the next second. Most K-pop fans won't even blink at this point.
Take 2013's I Got a Boy by Girls' Generation. There are at least 9 moments where different genres warp together. Like here. Skip ahead just 20 seconds, and another unexpected shift happens.
Let me put it down another
Always. Think about like K-pop songs, it always switches at the end.
I Got a Boy를 보면 그 당시에 유행하는 많은 장르의 음악이 노래 하나에 다 들어가 있고 I Got a Boy라는 노래.
It's a K-pop classic, and hints of its structure can be found in a lot of K-pop tracks.
특히 이제 K-팝을 보면 물론 K-팝이 그 에이전시가 만든 그러니까 예술이라기보다는 상품에 가까운 음악이고 그리고 팬들이 그걸 받아들이는 것이 단순히 뭐 자동차를 사거나 뭐 컴퓨터를 사는 것처럼 상품으로만 생각하는 게 아니라 이게 자기의 어떤 해석이 들어가서 거기에서 또 새로운 거를 굉장히 찾아내는 과정이 항상 있더라고요.
In 2011, the K-pop industry hit a big milestone. The big 3 entertainment companies organized their first tours outside of Asia, and Korean television broadcast those images back home. Proof that Korean culture had finally found its global audience.
I saw the news that some European fans made some kind of flash mob in front of the Louvre Museum in Paris.
Hey.
A year later, there was this. The video took K-pop style to a ridiculous extreme.
Yeah.
And it was the first ever YouTube video to reach 1 billion views.
That's crazy.
When Gangnam Style happened, we were there with Psy when it was being created to like when it exploded. He was confused the entire time. Even now, he doesn't understand it. He's like, what's going on? And I'm like, how would I know? But it's awesome.
K-pop was now a worldwide sensation. In 2005, the whole Korean music market was ranked 29th in the world. By 2016, it was ranked 8th. That incredible success also put a worldwide spotlight on the long-standing criticisms of the industry, that entertainment companies push their young recruits into long contracts, controlling every aspect of their careers. The industry still has a way to go, but some criticisms have been met with reform. In 2009, the Korean Fair Trade Commission began regulating agency contracts, removing terms they deemed excessively long or restrictive.
물론 여전히 에이전시와 아이돌 사이의 그 자율성에 관해서는 문제도 많고 계약도 문제가 많지만 예전에 처음에는 그랬을지 모르지만 지금은 이제 K-팝도 많이 바뀌어서 그런 식으로 무조건 에이전시가 다 만들어내고 뒤에서 조정하는 어떤 퍼펙트 같은 그런 존재는 이제 사실 아니고.
That rigid factory structure also gets to something the headlines often overlook.
저는 사실은 이게 K-팝 본질이라고 생각하거든요. 그러니까 so K한 부분이라고 생각해요. 이렇게 견디고 인내해서 결국에 뭔가 결과적으로 성취해내는 것에 대해서 굉장히 큰 가치를 부여하는 부분이 있거든요.
Even after Gangnam Style's incredible success, the US market was still stubbornly hard for the K-pop industry to penetrate, and for one key reason.
The US market has historically been really averse to non-English music.
That is, until BTS.
Making their US TV debut, make some noise for BTS!
It's like when they got to LAX, it was like the Beatles were here.
BTS will always have a special place in my heart.
I love BTS so much.
I like a lot of their music, but their fans are a bit scary.
BTS has basically smashed every US record for a K-pop band.
That's crazy.
To understand how, you have to look at Billboard's social media chart. BTS has been at the top for over a year. Billboard eventually cashed in on that enthusiasm, releasing collector's edition covers for each band member.
The music's great, but there's something about BTS's social presence that makes them very accessible to many fans, and that's something that is impacting other K-pop companies.
A lot of times, they just seem like old friends.
They also are very genuine, and they have a lot of chemistry together.
They're still individuals, but the chemistry between them is almost unmatched in all of K-pop groups.
Yeah.
But what really sets BTS apart from most other K-pop acts is their lyrics.
We always talk about the young people's lives.
BTS deals with some subversive themes that speak directly to a generation that feels enormous pressure.
You check the check out.
Those messages are very similar to the band that inspired the K-pop industry in the first place, Saltegian Boys. In 2017, BTS even covered their classic Come Back Home. And when Saltegi gave a concert to celebrate the 25th anniversary of their debut, BTS joined him on stage.
Yo!
That's crazy.
South Korea became a pop culture powerhouse by taking Saltegian Boys' style and turning it into a formula. Formula is so successful that K-pop has now touched nearly every continent.
Hi, I'm Anubhuti from India.
And I come from Finland.
From the Philippines.
Costa Rica.
I'm from Canada.
This is my K-pop tattoo.
K-pop is my life.
K-pop helped the world understand and open up to a country it knew little about.
If someone sees a video of a K-pop idol group, like for the first time, with high probability they're gonna be kind of confused. That's not a bad thing.
It's one of the reasons why K-pop's so great. Fans are able to connect with the artist even though there's a difference in culture sometimes.
As K-pop acts start going outside of the formula, expressing their own ideas about their country and culture, there are millions of fans ready to listen.
That was amazing. We needed to watch that.
That's been K-pop explained, truly like opened our minds a bit more, you feel me? Like, we didn't know a lot about those things that go on.
It's crazy how back in the day it influenced. Like,
the Saltegian Boys.
The fact that the government didn't allow them
and
to make music and ban them, and that they
created the company.
They created what made Korea.
Yeah. So rich.
So rich, exactly.
Yeah, and so popular and stuff.
Exactly.
Like that. And it all started about those three gens. That's crazy.
Three guys dancing on stage.
I'm glad
people
you
saying
took
that.
that.
What is this? This is not good.
And
And then they got
literally-
famous, and then they banned them. Look now.
Exactly, bro.
We got K-pop.
I hope you guys did enjoy that video, and I hope you also like found this interesting. Let us know in the comment section about what we should react to next. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to
hit the like button.
That's been your boy Carl, David. Our Instagrams will be in the description below if you want to check us out. We out. So.